Hello. That's it.
ಅಲ್ಲ ಇದೇ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ?
ಅಲ್ಲ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕೆ ಸೀಟ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ವಿತೌಟ್ ಸೀಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಬರೀ ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಫುಲ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಎಕ್ಸರ್ಸೈಸ್ ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಇದೆ.
So getting back to that class, modification.
Hello. Good afternoon to all of you.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Okay. Hello. Good afternoon to all of you. I request a few students to please leave the Zoom meeting and join through the YouTube link because the resource person is unable to join the meeting. Hello. I request a few participants to please leave the meeting. Please join through the YouTube link. The resource person is unable to join. Hello, Padma ma'am.
Yes.
Yes. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, you are.
Yes. So we will start with the session, ma'am, now.
Okay.
Okay. So before that, we have an introductory session which will be taken care by our students.
Huh.
Okay. I think Medha, you can start with the session.
Speech is power. Speech is to persuade, to compel, to convert. Words are to voice our opinions, desires, and feelings. From Martin Luther King's I have a dream to Mahatma Gandhi's do or die, we've built empires and crumpled them with the extensive use of language. Greetings to one and all present here, and welcome to Literary Regale lecture series organized by the Department of English in connection to our Golden Jubilee celebrations. A special hearty welcome to our guest speaker, Ms. Padma. Welcome, ma'am. I, Medha Mallikarjun of First BCom, will be today's Master of Ceremony. Before we dive deep into today's webinar, I'd like to invite Arpita onto the virtual stage to invoke the blessings of the Almighty. Over to you, Arpita.
ಇವಾಗೇನಕ್ಕೆ
Okay, Medha, you can continue.
In pursuit of making our mark in this world, we've overused our one gift of cognitive evolution to communicate beyond crude sounds. Inventing intricate words and sounds, we've been the architect of 7,117 languages. When we don't speak, our computers speak for us in forms of ones and zeros. 7,117 tongues, as often as not, speaking in front of a crowd can be the most nerve-wracking thing asked of us. Speaking in front of a crowd is considered the #1 fear of an average human being. The theme for today's webinar is public speaking, a fundamental skill not just required to climb the career ladder, but when with friends and family. When you speak, you influence. And with that influence, you can bring a revolution. Now, I'd like to call upon Gagana to give the welcome speech. Over to you, Gagana.
Thank you, Medha. A very warm good afternoon to one and all present here. Extend your arms in welcome to the future. The best is yet to come, said Anthony de Mello. On that note, it gives me great pleasure to welcome all of you to what I'm sure will be a very informative session on public speaking. It's a great honor to welcome our principal, Dr. Shashikala ma'am, to the webinar, as well as Madam Soumya P., the HOD of the Department of English, and the rest of the department who have been kind enough to organize the webinar. It's an immense honor to welcome our chief guest and resource person for the day, Ms. Padma BS, Managing Partner at Ideas for Change, Bangalore. Thank you, ma'am, for gracing us with your presence and knowledge. Finally, I would like to welcome all the faculty and my fellow students attending the webinar. Let's all participate and engage in the session and make great use of the resources. Have a great session. Thank you.
Thank you, Gagana, for that warm welcome. Now, I'd like to invite Astha Shetty onto the virtual stage to introduce our guest speaker, Ms. Padma. Over to you, Astha.
Very good afternoon. I'm Astha Shetty, and it's my greatest honor to introduce our guest speaker today. An alumnus of BSCCB said of 1995 batch, Ms. Padma, Paddy as she'd like to be called, is a seasoned marketing professional with 12 plus years of entrepreneurial experience and 12 years of corporate experience. As a marketing consultant, her focus has been on establishing brands and developing the market for startups like iPomo, Hot Slab, Yardstick, Injuice, Ons, and so on. She started her career with public relations agency, Melcol PR and 2020 Media before her corporate assignments at Induja TMT, I2 Technologies, Infosys, and CMS Software. She is adept with all the marketing mixes such as go-to-marketing technology, target audience engagement campaigns, market research, PR programs, and employee engagement programs. Spending her entire career in the area of communications, she believes that communication is the only bridge that can make or break things. She is passionate about establishing a clear and true communication ecosystem while interacting with all and any of the stakeholders. In college, her journey was filled with being in leadership roles, class representative, sports secretary, and student union president, beholding key roles in the institution-based Rotaract Club of MLWC, then parallelly while being in college. Therefore, she completely understands the importance of developing communication skills, be it oral or written. She is a fervent conservationist, be it know-how, heritage, culture, or environment. With a burden for conserving the wildlife, she started her NGO, Save Tiger First, in 2020 as a co-founder and trustee. The NGO carries out unique campaigns to spread the message of wildlife conservation. Apart from that, she is the managing director for I4C, Ideas for Change, her proprietorship concern. She is also a member of Other Business Forum's International Federation of Business Intellectuals and Changemaker, as well as other initiative groups, Friends of Lakes. In all her roles, her constant endeavor has been that of creating awareness that touches lives around her, arousing deep sense of conscience within. Her life mantras, driven to make things happen, and adaptability about circumstances have enriched her journey in life. It is an honor to have you here with us today, ma'am.
Thank you, Astha. Now, I'd like to request our guest speaker, Ms. Padma, to please take over the session. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Medha, Ragana, and Astha for, taking over the stage and setting the precedents and the required conducive flow for this session. As you know, public speaking is really a life skill, and it has become a life skill in the recent times. Before when we were in college, public speaking was like, we used to wonder what public speaking is, because really, is that something, of course, we were aware of the concept, but is that something that we have to pursue all the time is something that we wondered. But because of the onset of technology, because of the onset of so much of information explosion, today's generation is much aware of what public speaking is, and they are actually well groomed in terms of what this area is about and what is the importance. I'm here to share whatever I know with you and learn from you what you know in this area of public speaking. Having said that, I'd like to thank the college and the English department very graciously to invite me to be a resource person for today's session. Firstly, I'd like to, thank the people who had to drop out to accommodate me here in the room because of the capacity. So thank you one and all for making time for today's session. And I really hope that this was well worth time for you to spend today. Okay, so I think I can share my screen. I have just made a very small presentation. Is my screen visible? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So while I was just talking about this public speaking, I just wanted to know if you all have good enough strength of internet, and then you all can just do a very small activity. See, if it was in the case of an offline presentation, it would have been very easy for me to establish eye contact, establish, my rapport with the audience, and then get on to the activity. But here, since this is an online medium, I request your cooperation and support so that we can effectively understand or realize what we are all set out to over here. So I just want responses from some of you. I wouldn't know if Nimisha and Soumya are already online, but I really would want some participation or response, and you can always unmute your speakers. I wanted this to be a interactive session, even though it might sound like being in a kiosk. Is that okay with all of you? You can chat, you can type your responses in the chat box.
Sure, ma'am.
Okay. I am just going off. I don't know how to exit this full screen mode because I need to go into another screen. Okay, let me just do this. Okay. Okay, so I would not go into presentation mode. Okay. You all can, go to this Mentimeter, website. Either you can opt for clicking on the first, link if it's possible for you, if you can access the link. Otherwise, just go to menti.com and type this code, and then you can submit your responses. I would like you to define for me what public speaking is. Can you all do that, please? Just probably let's take this 2 minutes or 3 minutes for all of us to do this. Is that an acknowledgement? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so is everyone going to do this activity now?
Sure, ma'am.
Okay. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Can you all see www.menti.com and can you see the code? Hello, girls.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
Okay, great. So can you just go and then just build out the slide? I will show you what the results are in a few moments. Are you? Are you all done? I am somehow not able to get back to my Zoom screen.
Yes. Done, ma'am.
Okay, great. Okay. Why do I go to my screen? Okay. Let me just get hold of the results. Okay. I am just not able to go back. Just give me a moment, girls. I'm so sorry about this. Okay. Meanwhile, can you just tell me what do you guys think about public speaking? Anyone?
The ability to speak to an audience with confidence and to be able to engage them, grab their attention.
Okay. Okay.
Fluently driving home a message.
Okay. Please introduce yourself, because I don't know, I'm not able to see my screen, and I think the video is turned out because of the bandwidth issues. So please do tell about yourself, and then tell me what you feel about your. Anyone else?
I'm Asta, and public speaking is communicating with in front of a large group of audience.
Okay. I think, there are some challenge that I'm facing with this Mentimeter. Okay. We'll get the results. So obviously, when we talk about, what public speaking is, we obviously want to know why public speaking, right? What are the elements that are that include or that are required as a skill to be an effective public speaker? So there are very many definitions about public speaking, and there are many, scenarios, or, the internet is filled with what do you have to do to build yourself as a public speaker, or, while interacting. But here is what I really feel an effective public speaking skills should be. At the level of self, clarity of thoughts. Clarity of thoughts is the first step that you will have to clear out in your mind when you want to, think about public speaking. For example, as simple as even if you're talking to another individual, it requires clarity of thoughts. Unless you clear up your mind, unless you think what you want to say, it'll always be a miscommunication when you want to convey your message. Have any of you come across these kind of situations when you've said something and the other person has not understood what you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
Say a yes or a no.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So I encourage you, everyone, to really go deeper and think what exactly you want to convey. And that's where the first step begins, clarity of thought. And I'm sure if you ask Medha, right? You're the MC, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so if you go and ask Medha today, what is the preparation that she made for actually becoming an MC for today's event, she will have a whole lot of story to say. She will say, I did this and I put down in points, A, B, C, D, maybe even according to time, I'll introduce this, then I'll invite somebody to, talk about or introduce the speaker, and then I will do this. So I hope you did all of that, right, Medha?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's exactly what the clarity of thoughts, and the best way to clear out your thoughts is to put it down on paper. Even if you find less relevant, or if you think, is it really worth putting this point? Is it silly, etc., etc. But just put your thoughts down completely on a piece of paper. And then start prioritizing. What is it that I need to speak first? What is it? How important is it? And while you're putting down your thoughts, you yourself will come up with the flow. Think, okay, maybe I can move this to the later, this topic or this action. And then, this is the most important thing. So come up with your top 3 to 5 things that you want to do. So that when you clear out your mind and put down everything on paper, begins the first step for public speaking, right? Then, the reason why we do public speaking, obviously, is for expressing of self. We are human beings. We always want to express our thoughts and emotions and what we want to do. We want to share our life with the people around us whom we have included in our daily lives, our friends, our families, our parents, our classmates, our teachers, everybody. You want to go up to your class teacher and say, look, ma'am, I won't be able to attend this class. Have any one of you actually gone to your teacher and have you ever said that? I don't know if you have that kind of a scenario in the college right now. But we were so scared. We were like, and then let's all be, quote unquote, unofficial over here. We ended up bunking classes. Is that so, the scenario?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So I had a situation in my second degree, right? In my second degree, I had a situation where I got an opportunity to attend one of the biggest events probably in my life at a very large organization, which I don't know if I would get that opportunity ever in life. And that was an occasion that will never repeat itself. It was the first year anniversary of a very large corporation. And I don't want to name it, just because I don't want anybody to get biased, but it was the first year anniversary of a very large corporation, very large company today, and it's a global company today. So I don't know whether I'll work for that company in future. I don't know whether I'll get that opportunity in future. So what should I have done? I had an exam. I did my CBSE in college, and I had a practical exam that day. That day coinciding on that day. What I mean, like your mind, my mind is not able to think, should I attend that event? Should I skip that event, or should I? As a matter of occurrence, obviously I went to my teacher and they were so gracious enough to accommodate my request. I was also in the leadership role as a sports secretary. So they know my performance. I didn't bunk, never. And I really regretted that today. I should have probably bunked classes sometime at least. And so I told I think it was botany. I told to my lecturer and I said, look, ma'am, this is the invite I have. And I don't think so ever in my life I'll get this opportunity. Will you please allow me to attend it? I know I'm missing my practicals. And do you think you'll be able to support me conducting a re-examination? Because, there are cases where, if students are falling sick, or if you're, some circumstance and you are a good performer, good student, so teachers do accommodate. There is a re-examination as a part of the process and the structure of examination, things like that, right? So I just took advantage of that. And I went and said, look, ma'am, this is the case. Will you please allow me? The luck was on my side. They agreed. And I was ready to forego those marks, by the way, girls. I was ready to forego that marks because I wanted to be part of a global event at that time. I'm talking about 94. So God was, gracious, and, I became lucky and my teachers agreed. And then I attended that event. And I also reappeared. I reappeared for a separate, this one was conducted for me, and I just cleared it, and that's history now. So why I'm giving this example is that we need to express ourselves. That's the biggest strength of advantage of public speaking. Public speaking is, yeah, of course, public is something like a huge gathering in front of us, like an audience. And then when we go in front of it, that is really not public speaking. Public speaking is an interaction outside of our mind. That is public speaking. The moment our thoughts come out of our mouth, whether it's in front of your sister, brother, mother, father, anybody, that's public speaking. So remember this, that public speaking, if you're able to communicate well with people around you, you're probably the best speaker. If you're able to communicate what you are studying in your degree or in your PU to a child who is in first standard and second standard, that is public speaking for me, right? So this is all is going on inside of us, right? Obviously, overcoming inhibition, I think, Medha set the precedence for this, that, you know, it is an inhibition for us. We have to overcome. And by the way, I really admire the confidence that the current generation has, because they do not have inhibitions at the level that we used to have. When I said we, I'm not necessarily referring to me, because I was quite outspoken, but I'm just talking in a very generic sense. I'm just talking about the era or the generation that I come from, right? So overcoming inhibition, these are all the, you know, points that we always wonder that, you know, okay, how will it be what if I say wrong? Even to ask a question to your teacher, sometimes you might have not wanted to ask the question because you thought the question was silly. And that happened to me again when I was in my 9th or 10th standard. And the reason I acknowledge my teacher today wholeheartedly, she is my history teacher. And whenever there was, she used to ask question, and then I knew the answer, but every time she looked at me, I looked away from her, thinking that, just to say that don't tell me to answer the question. That was the look that I had. And she actually helped me overcome that. She said, you know, there are some people who know the answer, but they are turning away their face. This has exactly happened in the classroom. And then from then on, I actually picked up answering questions, not just asking questions, things like that. So that is the inhibition that we all need to overcome, right? So that's at the level of self that we can look at what and why public speaking is. This is what it helps us do. Now, on the outside of us is we want to do public speaking because we want to create results. It can be anything. The results can be anything. The result is just you want to tell somebody at home, maybe your father, mother. Of course, there are other, over a period of time when you develop rapport with people, there are other styles of communication that comes into picture, but creating result, you want to tell your mom you're hungry, and you want to tell your mom that you want your favorite dish. That is the result of communicating to your mom, right? It can be as simple as that, probably as silly as that, but creating results is the biggest achievement of public speaking. And the largest, I just put two ends of it because, these are the two broad umbrellas where we can think what public speaking can do for us is influencing larger audiences. For example, you are a class rep and you want to tell your, classmates what is going to be there in a particular session, or you want to make an announcement. And not only that, or you want to say that you're as a group, you all want to go out somewhere together as part of, some kind of an activity which is required in your curriculum. And there are you need to have at least say some 50-60 people, and you are facing a challenge in certain terms, but you want people to participate. You want the whole of class to participate. Maybe the whole of the strength is say 70-80 people, and you're getting only half the attendance. So what are you going to do? You need to be a public speaker to influence your classmates, saying that, look, this is an important session for everyone, and we'll all get benefited if we attend it as a group. So that kind of result and that kind of influencing is why we use public speaking for. So far, I've just outlined why we need a public to be public speakers, right? And it's not that only standing in front of an audience makes you a public speaker. It's all of this put together is public speaking for me. So girls, so far, I've just shared what I feel public speaking should be. Any questions, anything, please, you can come up and ask if there is anything that you want to contribute in this area that we just speaking about, this slide particularly, or anything that you want to add.
Hello, Padma ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I think you need to put your presentation on, your PPT on presentation mode.
Oh my God. It is showing stop screening. So that means that can you see it now?
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Okay. Anyway, the slide is right here. So I spoke about clarity of thoughts, expressing self, overcoming inhibition. Then that's at the level of self. Then outside of us is creating results and influencing public. So this is what we just, kind of got familiar with. I just shared about this. Any questions or any inputs or any remarks or any thoughts or any contributions here, I'd be very happy to listen from you people. Anybody? I think I'm being very boring. Is it so?
Hello? No, ma'am.
No, you don't have to be so formal. Please tell me. I especially this topic is so dear to me. I'm really facing the challenge and I'm missing you people not being able to see, and I really mean that. So let me see if Mentimeter has given me some results, please. I think it's also asking me for a code and this is very silly. Just a moment, please. Okay. Okay. No, I really don't know why it's asking me. Okay, I'll come back to that. Let me not waste your time. And so nobody has any thoughts on this? Okay.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes, please. Who's this? Please tell me
My
your
name
name.
is Haripriya.
Yes, Haripriya. Please go ahead. And I congratulate you for your confidence. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. My problem is that I tend to stammer a lot when I'm very nervous. So, though I know how to frame sentences properly, I tend to make a lot of grammatical errors when I speak. And when I type, it's not the same thing. So how do I overcome this problem?
Very, very important question and very pertinent question. So, Haripriya, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello. So, Haripriya, see, it like how you yourself probably it's a rhetorical question, how you've answered it. So you have, when you're putting down, there is no problem, right? You're very clear in your thoughts. You're able to say what you want to say and things like that. But you stammer because you think you stammer. Let it go. And if you're stammering, you can stammer for a while. How long? If you're getting used to it, it's okay. Be okay with your stammer at the first place. Right, Haripriya? Don't be conscious about your stammer. What is the max that's going to happen? You'll take more time. People may think, oh my God, she's stammering. I don't know. You have these thoughts on your mind, right? That's okay. You're just stammering. You're not killing anybody. Is it, Haripriya?
No, ma'am.
So, see, public speaking is something to train your mind about. right? It's the biggest tool that you can train your mind. Training your mind is the biggest tool in public speaking. What can go wrong? Nothing can go wrong if you're stammering. Yeah, you may mispronounce a few words. You can always clarify and say, I'm sorry. What is, okay, let me ask you, Haripriya, what is it that, okay, I'm inviting you to speak. Imagine or consider that I'm inviting you to speak to an audience and you have the stammer problem. You have it. What is it that you're going to say to the people in front of you? Let's do this exercise. I think it will also help other people to understand what I'm saying. Is my screen visible? I'm going to check this from time to time because otherwise I don't know how else to. There's some glitch probably. Yeah, Haripriya, you would like to take this question and answer it?
Ma'am, can you repeat your question?
I'm just saying that I am inviting you to do a public speaking session right now, okay? And you still have this stammer problem, like, you know. So what do you think what are you going to do? What are the steps that you're going to take? Tell me. What, like, just say 1 or 2 points. What do you want to do? How are you going to address? Let me. You can take your time.
Do you want me to address everyone about my problem?
Yes, right now.
Okay. So I'll probably tell everyone that I do have stammering problem, which tends to lower my confidence, but I'm very much interested to overcome the same, because of which I'll try to participate, even though I think that I'm not extremely good enough for the same.
Brilliant. I think that's just brilliant. You know, that's exactly what expressing yourself means. And you think people will not understand this? They will be. I mean, just even don't care about the people who do not. There are people who will understand, and there may be people who are very ignorant about this. So just be aware and be calm. That's about it. And also, what you can do is just probably take, say, like 2-3 seconds gap after maybe you speak every sentence or like a phrase. Take those 1 or 2, 3 seconds in gap, and then because your mind will get reset, and then you already know the flow of what you're going to speak, right? So you say your sentence and then maybe take a 1 second, 2 second gap and finish your sentence. That way your mind is resetting quickly, so that your mind is not finding words, or it's not stopping at words that you think are difficult to. And then take it from there and practice this. You can just practice this. And also another technique that you can do is, if you want to do a rehearsal in front of the mirror before you actually go and speak, take the time, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, practice in front of the mirror and see where you stammer and see why you stammer, see yourself. And then I think you'll be able to, I mean, the first thing is that you already said that you are going to acknowledge that you're having a stammering problem. I think that's that's like loads of confidence already in you, right? So yeah, try these small techniques like this, and then maybe, it will get better and better over a period of time. And probably, the thoughts that you had, what you want to share with your people, probably you'll have best ideas for that, right?
Right, ma'am.
Yeah. So, okay, anybody else?
Ma'am, I have a question. It's Medha here.
Yes, Medha.
Ma'am, so I kind of have this problem where I can't pace myself when I'm speaking, pretty much when it's impromptu. I get out a lot of information in one shot, and then I'm not sure if the other person has gotten the message that I'm trying to tell them. So what do I do about it?
You don't have to bother whether the person has actually got it at this point of time or not. So when you're speaking an impromptu, obviously you'll have many thoughts coming together, make a mental map of the points. At least for the first 2 or 3 points, you just say, okay, this is what I need to focus on. In fact, if you go with a 1-point agenda, if it's impromptu, I said, okay, you've given, I've got to deliver an impromptu speech, and the topic is this, even if it's given 5 minutes. Whatever is the best point in that topic that you are confident about, pick that up. The rest will follow. And yes, there will be other points that you will miss. That's okay. So you first, for the first 5 minutes, at least concentrate on what the topic that you're confident about. When you gain the confidence of actually being in front of the audience for whatever, these 3, 4, 5 minutes, I think the thoughts will start coming back to you. And when it's an impromptu speech, you can always say, yeah, okay, I wanted to talk about this. And I wanted to see, ultimately public speaking is actually involving the people and making the people listen. Okay, I just want to ask you at this point of time, have you all seen or witnessed or any time which was Mahatma Gandhi's first speech, very first speech in India? Have you guys, I mean, it's in the movie Gandhi, but have you guys ever seen that or heard about that? Or, by the way, Gandhi also was not the most confident speaker. It just happened to him and he started developing that. He was nervous. Any of you? So when Gandhi started speaking for the first time in his first speech, I think people, he just came onto the stage and probably froze. Maybe he was scared, but he also saw that, you know, he didn't know what to speak, and he didn't know what to speak. More than that, he said, how to engage them? What is it that I can say that, you know, they'll start listening to me? I think that was very clear in his mind. But when he saw people, and he was not well known like Nehru or the other Congress leaders. So when he said something and people started coming back, he spoke about the villages. So that's where the connect came into audience. People had started already leaving. And then he made his address and people came back. So find that connect. I may not be able to tell you right now what that connect is, but you being there present at the moment, and I'm sure you would have just, I mean, if you're the first speaker, then obviously you need to be a little more prepared. But over a period of time, if you're the second and third speaker, or if you are there and you know, get the vibes from the public and, you know, get the thoughts, and then try and make a connect by saying it can be anything. You can take any style, you can adopt any style. If you think you're humorous, then crack a joke. Immediately you'll get the attention. Obviously it has to be topical. You can't crack a joke. You know, if you're going and speaking about, say, English, you cannot obviously crack a joke about science technically, which doesn't make sense. You know, things like that. I'm just giving you a very bizarre example. Is that, I hope it was helpful, whatever you asked.
Thank you.
Yeah, most welcome. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Is my screen okay? So yeah, so continuation of my public speaking. Obviously, we talked about it, not only at a level of self and outside, but this is what it contributes to for your career. You guys, wherever you are in your first, I mean, I know, I'm sorry, I'm talking about second year, third year and all, because my mind has got trained, but I think you're all in a semester system. So whichever semester you are, and whenever you graduate, and most of you would want to, you know, end up taking up a job, and, you know, interviews are the only way. So that's where your public speaking skill is going to be utilized. How confident you are, and, you know, you end up with a job. I remember clearly recently a friend of mine was telling me that, you know, her boss, over a period of years, when you start working with your bosses, you both started opening up. And so the boss tells her that I did not pick up. I was sure that you did not have the skill sets that I was looking for, but I picked you up only because of the confidence that you displayed. And this is another case study. I'm not talking off the cuff. I'm just talking what a friend of mine shared with me. This is how, you know, you display your confidence and end up with the job. So that is something that you can look on. I mean, whatever interview you go for, you know, obviously when you go for an interview, you will be prepared. But at the moment when interview is being done, at the moment when the interview is being done, it is very dynamic. So be prepared for that. But don't you may be nervous. Nervousness is good. You will feel butterflies in your stomach and all of that. That's fine. But just be confident that you can get through. And that attitude will really make a lot of difference. Right? So that is, yeah, I mean, there are other points which you do become a critical thinker, because like how Medha was asking this question, you really need to think on the spot, and that's how critical thinking is there getting generated in your mind. What is it that you need to prioritize? I have lots of things to speak. What is it that I want to speak first? So that's where then obviously your development, your communication skills, your networking, you go into even if it is a party, sometimes even if it is a marriage, for example, you just walk in and you were not accompanied by your family or friends at that moment, but you just walk into a wedding, say let's say a friend's wedding, and you're alone. How are you going to handle the situation? You can just sit around, or you can just start networking. I mean, you can talk to person who's sitting next to you. I mean, if that's what you want to do, I'm just giving you an example. So of networking, leadership, and obviously, it adds to your listening skills and all the other things. Right now, like, I just want to build this side. So like we already addressed impromptu by Medha's questions, then it's oratory. Oratory is obviously you are more prepared, you know what to talk, and it's more formal, and like, it can be a political speech, it can be a speech at an organization, you're addressing your employees, you know what to speak, you'll exactly have ABCD, maybe a function. So ceremonial, obviously ceremonial is something on an occasion, like it can be an inauguration of something, or it can be a festival or anything. Demonstrative is something that you know already, and then you are going to share that information with the people present. That is informative is something like you want to share about something that you've discovered, or you want to kind of tell people that, hey, this is a great information, and, all that kind of stuff. And persuasive also, like we already touched upon persuasive, where you want to influence people, saying that, I just gave you the example of all of your classmates attending a program together and things like that. So you need to be persuasive in that. So these are different styles. I've just put it here. There can be as many styles defined. I just put it what I thought could be discussed. Of course, humor. I think it plays a great amount of influence. Humor has a great amount of influence, and try and see if you can bring in humor a bit somewhere, because it gets the attention immediately. It gets the connect to your people immediately. Crack a joke, and that's a very, very I would call that really a heavy loaded skill, humor. Yeah. So any questions or anything that you want to share so far?
Hello, Mom. This is Gagana.
Yes.
I had a question. I had a question. If you're a socially awkward speaker, and if you're
socially
awkward,
okay,
awkward speaker, or a socially anxious person, if you also have the habit of speaking fast, while trying to collect your thoughts, there might be some pauses. How do you fill that awkwardness, and how do you fill those gaps?
Can you redefine your question, Gagana? Rephrase your question.
While trying to collect one's thoughts in an impromptu session, speech kind of thing, if you pause, ma'am, if one pauses while trying to gather your thoughts, it might appear awkward, or especially to an anxious person, it might make them feel congested, weird. So how does one alleviate that? How does one fill those gaps?
So Gagana, actually, like I said in the first instance also, you are feeling awkward. The audience is not feeling awkward. The audience or the people are not in the same space as you are feeling awkward. You're feeling awkward because it is inside you. So you need to get rid of that inhibition that you are awkward. You think that you are actually coming across as awkward, but for the other person, you're actually okay. Are you trying to? Are you? I mean, am I making sense? Are you able to appreciate this difference?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, and taking pauses when you're doing an impromptu is, I think, a very natural thing, because people know that you're speaking impromptu. It's not a prepared speech, and people really appreciate that, gathering your thoughts.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
No? Yeah, no, I mean, you can always ask if that is what, I mean, this is the only way I would think. And, you know, public speaking as a skill is so very subjective that what I'm saying may or may not be the right approach for somebody else. They may have a better style. You know yourself best. You know, yes, of course, what you need to work on yourself is something that, you know, all of us can address. You know, there are many things, like, for example, you think too fast. Then what you need to do is just take a small slip and, you know, make a note of it, and maybe keep it in your hand. And I mean, even you can write down in your hand, but I don't want to recommend that. But take a small slip, and, you know, it's perfectly all right to have a slip, and when you're referring to that. Okay, and another one is, I would like to also encourage all of you to build on your memory skills. Memory skills, if you can put that effort, it's good for everything, every situation. Memory is a huge challenge, but I want to encourage you with a very small example, which I encourage myself time and again when I run into a problem. Okay, so we got this assignment to shoot Mr. and Mrs. Narayan Murthy, that is Sudha Murthy and Narayan Murthy. That was an assignment given to us. We had to go to their residence and take photographs of them for a magazine called Harmony, which is run by Reliance Foundation. And Harmony is a magazine for, you know, senior peoples. People who are above 60, and I don't want to call them retired, because I think, you know, life happens when you have a lot of time, and that's where you get to do the things that you like most, actually, because when you're going through the life at the age that you all are in, you're all racing against time. But you know, talk to me and I'll say I'm enjoying doing the things that I really, really like. In the first half of my life, I really worked, earned money. Those are the priority. But right now I'm doing what I like. I'm just talking to you people, whether it's making sense to you or not. Okay, so that's what I like. And if I would have loved it if it would have been an offline. So I'm just saying that. So yeah, to continue with the story, we went and we were given 45 minutes time, and we had made a list of which are the places that we need to shoot, take a photograph of them, like he reading, he having coffee, you know, he sitting with Sudha Murthy and talking, and then he gardening, you know, whatever his interests are, like that. We had a list. Okay, and I read out that list only once in 45 minutes. I was referring to my notes, but once I told this to Mr. Murthy, you know what happened? I mean, like, we got on with our first shot and then said, okay, next this, next this, next this, next. So he actually guided me to what the next set of shoot is. And I was blown away with that kind of memory. It was only once that I read out. And as I'm speaking, I'm getting goosebumps because I'm reliving that moment. You know, so this is just to encourage you to, if you can, work on your memory to a certain extent. It would be a great, great advantage. And I relive this moment whenever I go through this problem. I said, oh God, I'm kind of, but what I do personally, I make notes. If you see, I mean, in my house and office, there are notes everywhere. Another thing that I've been exploring recently is to create voice notes. Mobile is there with us. It's a handy tool. Make use of it. Either put notes on your mobile, like just even if it means one note in one point in one note, and you'll have to create another note for that. just do it initially. You'll streamline it. You'll get into a streamlining mode. Anything that you want to do it will not happen from the word go. It will not happen for the first. You will come up with the best practice as and when it gets matured for you or evolved for you. That is what I can suggest. Make voice notes if you think you're good with voice notes. Make voice notes and put reminders. So these are the techniques that you can actually use also. I know I extended the answer a bit, but that's what I thought I'll share. So I could have shared it earlier. So that's like I'm speaking, this is what is coming to my mind and I'm sharing with you. And do you guys, are you finding it out of place at any moment? No, right? So that's what I'm trying to demonstrate to you. So I just remembered about voice notes and taking notes on your mobile and all of this, right? And the memory point. I'm just sharing it with you. So it's not like, there is a very straightforward structure and you cannot go from point A to point B. Okay, you finish point A, so you cannot go back to point A after you finish point D. No, nothing like that. It's all, you're doing a speech and you're sharing your thoughts. So it's obvious that it's humanly obvious that, you have overlaps. So that's perfectly all right. And audience, whatever memory the audience has, at least it has for that much of time, as long as it's sitting in front of you, or as long as you are interacting with that person, they have that kind of memory. So give them that benefit of intelligence, and then you're ready to go, right? So don't think that Gagana, don't think that you're being awkward. Just, it's all about mind. That's all I want to say at the end of it. Please prepare and do a placebo effect for your mind, saying that I'm good to go, and that will help you greatly, right?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, welcome. Okay, so I mean, there are a few forums to develop your public speaking skills, and I'm sure you might have heard about this. I just thought this is an obvious slide, but I wanted to put it. So I'm sure you've all heard about Toastmasters, TEDx's. TEDx is a bigger platform, but then if you want to be a TEDx speaker, you can start preparing yourself from today, right? If you really want to take to public speaking, things like that, then you have your Rotary clubs, Lion clubs, where they encourage you. My sister literally picked up her public speaking skills from being in Rotary Club, actually. Our college, that is the Maharani Lakshmi Amani College, whatever it was called, MLWC at that point. Now it's MLAC. But at that time, we used to have a Rotary Club. I don't know. So it's a great project. Girls, if you want to revive the Rotary Club, you can get in touch with me and I can tell you how a Rotary Club can be started in your college. Our college had it while I was studying, and so you can all start to take it as a project. It will help you in every ways, not only public speaking. It will help you in your organization skills, your administrative skills, your planning skills, everything. So just you can discuss with Samya and other faculties and let me know, right? So these are some forums. Now, I would like to really tell you some resources that are available. And if you just search the word public speaking in Google, Dale Carnegie is the first person, and my first favorite book was How to Win Friends and Influence People. And that's what I read, and I love that book. And even after probably a century, he's relevant today. So go take some resources, and the link that I probably can circulate this link as well. It is an audio file about the art of public speaking. Go listen to it. The website is giving a disclaimer saying that you cannot download if it's outside the US. Be careful and be conscious about that, but it can be listened online. So go and listen to that. And these are some books which is a really killer and really good tools. And we've all heard about these speakers in India. So these are the people. What do you think these people do? If I can ask, please tell me. These are relevant names, and one of the names or two of the names or five of the names, I'm sure you would have heard sometime or the other. What do you think these people do?
Excuse me, ma'am. Your PPT is stuck on the third slide, ma'am. The fourth slide.
Oh, God. So what can you say? Can you tell me?
Why is public speaking?
Why public speaking?
Why
Okay,
public
I'll just do a I don't know. I am really getting challenged today with this Zoom thing, and I am so sorry about it. You'll have to please excuse me for my poor skills on Zoom. Is my thing visible now?
It's on forums,
Hello?
ma'am.
Yes.
It's on forums.
Next, is this Dale Carnegie slide seen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I talked about Dale Carnegie, so I will let the slide be here. So the art of public speaking, and this is the link. It's an audio, podcast. You can listen to it. Then how to win friends and influence people, how to stop worrying. These are the books that I would recommend. He's written other books, but these are the books that are really related to public speaking. Can I move to the next slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So yeah, these are the speakers that I talked about who are in India, and I'm sure you would have heard some names or the other, or all of the names. And what I just wanted you guys to say, what do they do? What do these public speakers at large do?
These people are influencers.
Yes,
through podcasts
great.
or through writings or any other form of work.
May I know who's speaking?
Ma'am, this is Haripriya.
Haripriya, great. Yes, go ahead, Haripriya. Yeah.
So through their work, they address people in large gatherings and they influence them in a good way.
Right. These are influencers. And why? And more influencers, they have their own style and they speak about a particular, I would say they have their own favorite topics, isn't it? Like if you talk about Sadhguru, of course, everybody does that. Even Gaur Gopal does that. Even Chetan Bhagat does that. And Shiv Khera does that. But overall, not necessarily about personality development, but I think what Sadhguru does is he talks more about environment. Because currently, I think if you're following Sadhguru, his campaign is Save the Soil, Save Soil campaign, right? So he's trying to build a public force by his thoughts and encouraging people to do their own bit for the environment. So things like that. So they have their own topic, and yes, they're all influencers. Okay. Can anybody else other than Megha, Gagana, Haripriya, and I don't know if there was one more speaker in between, apart from these three girls, can anybody do an activity with me right now, please? Hello. Girls, there are 61 people.
Ma'am, Hita has raised her hand to volunteer for the activity.
Who, sorry?
Ma'am, Hita R has raised
Hita
her.
R. Okay, great, Hita. Please, I am unable to see the hand raised, but yes, go ahead. So you're ready to do the activity with me, right?
Ma'am, Astha Shetty as well has raised her hand.
Okay, Astha. Okay, fine. Anyone else? So we'll go for 3. Okay, let's reserve these two, Astha and Hita, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, we have a third volunteer, ma'am. Neha Gopal has also raised her hand.
Neha Gopal, thank you. Thank you, all three of you. All right, let's do this activity. Let's go with Astha first. Astha, I'm going with Astha first. I'll tell you the reason why I'm going with Astha first after she finishes this activity. So Astha, hi.
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, a bit feeble though.
Okay, I'm sorry. My Wi-Fi is not really at the best stage.
No issues. Maybe you'll just have to end up speaking a bit loudly.
Yes, ma'am. I'll do that.
Yeah, great. So Astha, I want you to introduce your fictional friend. That's the activity for you. I want you to introduce your fictional friend. I don't want you to imagine any of the friends you know. I assume that you're going to do that. I want you to introduce your fictional friend. Can you do that?
Yeah. Can they actually be fictional, like part of a book?
They have to be fictional.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
So, I'll introduce to you Hermione Granger. She's one of my closest friends. She grew up a little bully, but nothing could take away from her smartness and shine. She ultimately ended up being the brains of the Golden Trio in Harry Potter. In more situations than once, she's saved Harry and a lot of other people's lives. Her patronus was an otter.
Okay, Asta, please hold on. You're actually picking up a character. I don't want you to have that background. I want you to completely have a new character in the earth today.
Okay, an actual fictional person.
Yeah, actually that person is not present on earth today, and in your speech that present is going to, that person or that character is going to be created. Can you speak like that? That is fiction.
Right. So I'll introduce you to my friend Alicia. She is an MBA graduate from London. She's currently working at one of the top firms of the country. She enjoys reading and is a big fan of movies, especially if it has like crime and gory details. She claims she can cook, but will eventually burn down your house. So it's better if you keep her off your kitchen. She's a really kind and sweet person and will be there for you anytime you say you're in trouble. But sometimes she forgets to take care of her own self that time.
Okay, great, Asta. So you see how your mind was working differently when you are actually introducing a person who's not known to you at all.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you share the difference with everyone?
I had to make sure that I'm talking, and while I'm talking, that I'm thinking, so there's no awkward pauses in between, and also that whatever I said made sense, and yeah, so brain was working double.
Yes, and but then you notice the uhs and ums and all that kind of stuff that's happening in between, right? Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Yeah. So what was the difference when you were introducing me?
Because it was impromptu, there was a little pauses and a little breaks in a normal structured flow.
Yeah, obviously. And while you were introducing me, I think you had the script, you had something to read out to, and then you were just flawless, and then you just read out completely, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So there's a whole lot of, and that's the reason why I picked you, Asta, first, because you need to be creating on the go when you are, want to think about it. And those situations are very often in our life, in our day-to-day life.
Right, right.
And then always think about it as something that is present on a daily basis, and you need to think on the go all the time, and always for people to do it with positivity, and do it for the positive, constructive reason, or for all the right reasons, constructive reasons, right? You don't have to go say, okay, I don't like this person, so I don't want to, I want to influence her not to be around me. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just giving you a very silly example, right? So do it for the constructive reasons. And I think that's what communication is all about, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, who is the second speaker, please? Who volunteered? Hita?
Yes, ma'am.
Hita?
Yes, ma'am.
Hita, I want you to imagine that you're going on a holiday and speak about your holiday destination.
Okay. Can it be my favorite holiday destination or something?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah. I had been to Maldives, and it was one of the best experiences. The greeny bushes and the beach, the scuba dive. It was amazing to be a part of that. And yeah, and it was really an amazing experience to be with my family members. And yeah, it's really the best place to visit when the Sorry, ma'am.
That's fine. That's fine. I understand. So what did you experience, Hita?
Yes, ma'am. I actually had a question for you before this. Yeah. So I have a good communication skills, but what really happens is I have a lot of fear. Like it's really stage fear, which I suffer from. As soon as I go on the stage, as soon as I see people, I get scared. I start to fear. My heartbeat increases. I don't know what to do. I really give up there. I keep thinking that okay, fine, I must not give up, but I completely give up that stage and I feel okay, fine, I'm done, I cannot do it, and I come back.
So you need to go a little more deep down and address what is it that you're scared about.
Mom, I don't know, mom. I start to shiver and my heartbeat just raises up. And
you fear that what if you go wrong, and what if you do not speak fine, and what if people laugh at you?
Maybe the third one, mom. Like, what if people laugh at me, or what if they
let them laugh?
Yeah, maybe.
Let them laugh. And your first speech, if I think that will be until you jump into the water, you'll not learn swimming.
Yes.
And you need not be really, if they laugh, they laugh. And then once you are on stage for the next 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, they laugh for the first 2, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and then you're comfortable with it, then you start putting your point across.
No, mom,
so
I have
you can always, and then you can always make a joke out of it, no?
Yeah. No, mom.
You can always say, okay, thank you for laughing on me, or that really built my confidence, something like that.
Yeah.
That's very thought-provoking, and people say, huh, we laughed at her and then that built her confidence,
Yeah.
Something like that.
So when I'm alone, mom, I don't really fear. Like in front of the mirror when I talk, I don't really fear to talk. I talk really well. Communication is good with myself better. But when it really comes to people, be it 5 or 6 members in the room, I cannot talk. I cannot show up my eyes to them, or I cannot do that eye contact with them. All that happens.
Don't have to. Okay, when you're in front of somebody, people will think that you're looking down and talking, and they may feel offended. So what you do is don't look at anybody. Look at a wall and start speaking.
Okay. Yeah.
Look at a wall and start speaking. And maybe after 3-4 minutes, when people get comfortable, you will get a sense that they're listening to you. You'll also start becoming comfortable.
Yes, ma'am. But when it is one technique. Yes, ma'am. And another doubt is when it is my close friend, when I talk to her, one-to-one, like I don't really get scared, but when she is only sitting as a member watching me talk, I get scared even at that time. I don't know why that's happening. Yeah.
You know what? And see, we're all human beings, okay?
Yeah.
We all see the biggest challenge. I also face this kind of a thing, what if I'm speaking wrong, or what if I make a fool of myself standing on the stage, right? We're all human beings, and we all go through exactly same emotions and exactly same doubts. Intensity may be different, situations may be different. So you just have to get rid of that kind of an imagination. And if your friend is sitting on the audience, you can also say, oh, my friend is there in the audience, and she'll think that of me and this of me, and people will start laughing at you, and that will create a humor.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so try these kind of techniques where, ultimately people for example, even today's talk, like I said, I don't know what is going on in all of your mind. I don't have that eye contact, but still I have to deliver. I have accepted given my commitment to address this today. So it's a challenge for me, right? Yeah, so there are challenges in life. So make a joke out of it. And if you think there are 100 people and 10 are listening, it's good that 10 are listening. You're able to influence and share your thoughts with 10 lives, which is a great thing. And that's absolutely fine. And that's how it goes in all public speaking. And that's what life is all about.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hope it helped.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. You have anything else to say?
Not really, ma'am.
Okay.
I'll try what you have told. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for trying.
Thank you.
Yeah, try is the only thing that will salvage us. Okay. By the way, everyone who's listening. Okay. Who was the third place? Hita and Neha. Neha, is that what? If I'm getting the wrong name right, or if that's wrong, please tell me. Who was the third one?
Yeah, ma'am, it's me, Neha.
Neha. Yeah, Neha. Okay, so so you witnessed two people. So what is your experience? What have you noticed? Why don't you share that with us?
Ma'am, could you please repeat it again?
I said you heard two people doing an impromptu. And what is it that you learned from it, or what is it that you observed, or do you have, like, you know, Hita came up with her apprehensions. Do you think you have do you think you can suggest something to Hita out of your experience?
One thing I really want to say is this I've gone through many times when I'm a stage performer. Okay, I'm a dancer basically. I've gone through many such conditions. One thing I really like to say to Hita is when you keep thinking, okay, I'll do some mistake, I may go wrong. If that's in your mind, for sure, I'm saying it's my personal experience, you'll go wrong. Remove that fear from your mind. Be open to people. Feel calm and cool. And then if you face the audience, you'll really be able to face them. That's what I would like to say. What I felt in both, whatever I have witnessed is the way they have changed. Basically, when my friend who introduced at the beginning, the way she spoke there and the way she spoke just a few moments before had a difference. The confidence level, the way she spoke, everything was different.
Whom you're referring to, sorry?
Ma'am, I guess Astha Shetty.
Okay.
She was a person who introduced.
Yes, right. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah, so she was confident, and then what else?
When it comes the first time, I personally felt it like she was very much prepared at the time. If she goes wrong with one single word, the whole presentation would have gone wrong. Now she's free to talk. Like she did not have anything. Okay, this much only I have to talk. Like this is the topic I have to talk. There was nothing such restrictions in her mind. She was open to talk.
Okay.
The second thing about the second person, she said her experience. She was free to speak to the resource person. It could be, or we know our teachers are also in this meet, and we felt free. The mindset was different, I guess. That's what I wanted to say, ma'am.
Sure, great, Neha. Very great observations. And one thing, I mean, if you just observe what just Neha did, I really want you to recognize the fact that people who are around us are our best people with whom we can take the feedback. Do you guys get that? Did you just experience that? So I really encourage you to kind of build your support system, build your people around, take feedback from people. It's okay. It's completely okay to go wrong. You please restructure your mind. And the mind is the most powerful thing that you can deal with. So that's just what. And Neha, so you volunteered, you had something else to say. I just asked you this question because you're the third one. So I didn't want you to kind of go through the same experience, but I just asked and you brought out good observations. Thank you for that. So you wanted to say something else, or can we just move ahead?
Ma'am, I just have one question, which I almost sometimes, not always. We'll be prepared for something. Okay, will think I'm ready for a speech. Okay, I don't have to look at it. I don't want to read at it. When I come to a speech, I tend to forget it at times. What should I do? What things should I make? What are the preparations should I make so that I don't forget it? Or else, if I forget it, what should I do to cover it up?
Okay. So Neha, this is the question that most of us have. Even I have the same question. And I think you already addressed it before when you were speaking to Hita, that you should let go. You know that you may forget. But then I told you somewhere in between that it's okay to carry a small chit and you refer to. You can practice that, or you can work on your memory, right? But the first step that you really want to acknowledge, or you really want to get, rectify that I forget. If you say I'm forgetting and then you're going on stage, obviously you'll forget, right? That's what you told Hita.
Yeah, ma'am.
So that's the answer, right? So you don't have to, but these are certain techniques. It is perfectly all right when you're doing some public speaking to carry a chit which has written down, you've written down ABCD points, and then one leads to the other and the other leads to the next. And when you have that notes, not only just as a mental note, but when you see the note, your thoughts kick in the same direction as you're thinking. I'll tell you a very this is just for relativity. I would have written down some notes like years back. Okay, and this is a test that you all can do, and it will be bang on. Okay, so I would have written some thoughts or some topic or something years ago. All right, and then and I would have forgotten about it. That activity would have been over, the program would have been over. But sometime later in life, I'm faced with the same topic or same situation, and I'm actually writing down the points. All right. So sometimes, this has happened as an incident to me when I actually accidentally go back and read the notes. No, it would be the same points almost. It may not be in the same order, but somewhat close. So the mental makeup that we have as human beings, like you are Neha, and your mental makeup is your mental makeup, and it will never change. Unless you're really aware. That's a total different topic that I'm touching, but your thought process will predominantly be the same. It may be A, B, C, D, or it could be A, D, B, C, or whatever it may be, but those are the main points that you, Neha, is made up of. Are you able to get this difference?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so you will arrive the point that you are, because that's how you think, and these are your thoughts, and this is what you stand for as an opinion. And those are the points that will always, your mind is very strong. Okay, it will tell you what to do. So just trust your mind, and you train your mind saying that. So become your buddy with your mind. Okay, become a buddy with your mind, and you talk to your mind. You said, you guide me whenever there's an opportunity. You guide me whenever I need you. You're my friend. These are some of the conversations that it may sound silly as of now. You may think what she's talking about, but this is how I train my mind. Empowering the mind. Giving that, surrendering to your mind. It will take over. Let it take over you. Right? So these are few things that I sometimes practice, and I've been so far kind of helped. And I just want to say this to you guys in life: what you get, you get. Okay? Whatever is meant for you, get. And what you don't get, you don't get at all. Never you get. What is not meant for you will not come to you. What is meant for you will come. So what you get is get, and what you don't get is you don't get. And it's absolutely okay to be with that. You don't have to end up saying that, oh, I want, yeah, of course. If you want to achieve something, then you go after it. Then you prepare yourself for it. That is the level of skill or preparedness or aggressiveness, or go getting aggressiveness that you want to build in yourself. That is something that you want to go after. But at the end of it, you get or not get doesn't make a difference. You don't have to stand at a place saying that, oh, I didn't get this and I didn't get that. Stop doing that. And I think, it's just very, very philosophical, but then, this is all what the mind keeps as a baggage. And, a lot of things get affected because of that. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
It's very, like I said, it's very philosophical, but stop and think what I'm saying. But it is going to be very helpful. I'm considering that, I passed out a few years ahead of all of you. So I just wanted to kind of share this because I came across this wisdom, and I think it will help everyone as individuals, as human beings, right? So yes, I think I'm almost at the end of my slides. I did have another Mentimeter activity, but I think there's some problem with my Mentimeter. I will publish the results of the Mentimeter, but I really thank you for this, time that you all have taken to be online on a Saturday afternoon, where you could have been doing something else. You could have been preparing for your exam, or you could have been doing a project work, or you could have gone out for a movie, or you could have done anything else, but you're here, you chose to be here, and thank you for that. And again, I thank the college for giving me this opportunity, for sharing whatever information I have, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that wonderful and informative session. Now we move on to our Q&A session, which will be moderated by Haripriya. Over to you, Haripriya.
Medha, I'm so sorry. There is one or two. Hita said I had a question. Okay, Hita, I think we've answered your question. Ashwini, Bhavana, how can we control our nervousness while speaking to higher authorities? Okay, that's a good question. Fine. I'll answer that because I think that's very relevant to all of you. You've been in the industry for a long time. What are your tips for beginners? Okay. Astha, I think we covered that while you volunteered. Ma'am, do you get jitters when you address a large audience? Don't ask me, Astha. I am jittery right now, and I was in jitters before I started this online. So yes, I do. So Bhavna, there's somebody who's Ashwini but said Bhavna. So if she's online, I'd like to take a question, and probably that's the last question, and then we'll end Medha. So how can we control our nervousness while speaking? This is a very pertinent question, all of us do. And why we face this nervousness while speaking to higher authority is because we think they are they are by a hierarchy, or by experience, or by the number of years they have put it, they are in a higher position than yours. They are still human beings. They'll have the same doubts, and the reason higher people who are in higher authority exercise that authority on you is also consider this reason that they also do not have answers. Just because the situation has given them a higher authority, if that gives them the authority to exercise that authority, and that's not a good equation to have. But to control your nervousness, you can always say that just think that are you being unreasonable in talking, or are you being unreasonable in asking something from your higher authorities? When you're talking about higher authorities, I think you're talking about a set structure. So it can be in college, it can be in office, it can be anywhere else. Of course, this structure of higher authority will not come in between friends and family. Of course, in family, you may think, okay, that's my uncle, and that's my aunt, and that's my mom, and that's my dad, and how can I ask them? Believe me, those higher authorities are much more accommodative than the higher authorities in any given structured format, which is, like I said, either in your college or in your office. So ask yourself, are you being unreasonable? Are you asking a question that is out of the structure or out of the scope of your out of the scope of your college. I mean, if it is something like, ma'am, can I submit my assignment a few days late? Do you have a genuine reason for that? You will have to say, ma'am, I was not able to do my assignment because of A, B, C, D. Do you think your ma'am or your lecturer will not understand that? Most of the times they will. I don't know if there is any other situations because of them not being able to accept it. Yeah, but ready to be face the consequences of that. Yeah, you need to be cognizant of that. But just go and be yourself. Try to be yourself. You do not have to really think that they are going to. I think you need to be only nervous because if you have your higher authorities, you know that your higher authorities have a temper or they are angry, right? So that is what I probably would want to say. So to this nervousness factor, just answer this question. Are you being unreasonable? You're not being unreasonable, right? You're asking the obvious questions, and the other person who is in your hierarchy may not have thought about this, and that may become probably the best question that you asked. So just ask. If you're being unreasonable, if you're not sure about the question, stop for a while, think about it. I think it will give it. Write down. If you are really want to clarify your doubt, you can always write down. Maybe you can always write an email to your higher authority saying that, I wanted to ask this question. When you're writing down, your thoughts will be clear. You'll get good words. Choice of words is very important. Maybe that's a better way to ask. Maybe you can try that. You can find creative ways. There are probably, I would share what I came to know recently is that each pair of DNA, I mean, this is science, but just I'm trying to, I'll share it with you as simple as possible, but all of you know that we have DNA and we have lots of DNAs, and each pair of DNA, every pair of DNA that we have, it has 30,000 expressions, and we exercise only 1 or 2 ways of expressing ourselves. So think about the other 28,000 expressions that you can come up with. You'll be a genius. I'm not just saying this very lightly or callously. I'm just saying this with true purpose here, and that's the power of human nature, and that's the power of human brain. So yeah, I'll leave you with that thought, and thank you so much. Yeah, Medha, over to you, please.
Ma'am, so we had a Q&A session that had to be moderated by Haripriya. So over to Haripriya.
Okay, you still have questions? I thought it was very interactive, but yeah, let's go ahead.
Hello, ma'am. This is Haripriya.
Yes, Haripriya.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Okay.
Could you actually tell us how important it is to have patience and good listening skills when we are in a public speaking platform? Because we see in these news channels how furious and ill-mannered people get when they're in the heat of an argument, because it's really irritating. And so could you elaborate how important it is to be patient while we are listening?
All of us obviously know that it is important to be patient and to have to be really calm and composed. So because see, when that kind of energy really is very detrimental, you will really end up messing your communication if you are in that. If you are really angry, my first suggestion is don't speak. Just get away from there. It can be as straightforward as that. You don't have to speak when you're in anger. So that's just a suggestion that I can make. Don't speak when you're emotionally charged. No, not when you're angry, not when you're happy. Be calm, be level-headed, be in your normal tone. I think you'll be able to decipher most of your thoughts. And then you will reflect yourself, which is, do I really need to speak? So, okay, if you're really in an agitated, kind of a losing patience kind of thing, take a deep breath, sit down, Wait for 5 minutes. Go back to your thought. Think. Your mind will tell you whether you need to ask the question or whether you really need to speak or not, whether you really need to put that point forward or not. If you really feel yes, if you're convinced about it, so go ahead. You would have come down in your agitation level at least by 50-60%, and some people can even neutralize that effect in 5 minutes. Practice that, and then you go ahead and ask your question. So these are the techniques that you can deal with, instead of just answering your question straightforwardly, saying that yes, it is important to be patient and blah blah. I just wanted you to take this action points in which will help you to listen. Better listening, definitely. Only if you can listen will you be able to synthesize your thoughts and come up with your points, right? I'm saying something. If you're not listening to me, you wouldn't have been able to ask the questions at all. So it is important to be a good listener, right?
Right, ma'am. The last question for today.
Yep.
How important it is for a politician to be an eloquent speaker, especially in a democratic country like ours?
How important is to be a? Can you please repeat the question? I think I missed a word.
How important it is for a politician to be an eloquent speaker, especially in a democratic country like ours?
Well, Hita, this is a very subjective question, and well, let me be a little diplomatic over here, because every politician has his or her own style of addressing people, and if you have to influence people, then you really need to have your own style. Okay, it can be anything. For example, I'd like to really, since you've brought up the term political, I would like to quote a good example from Vajpayee ji. Vajpayee ji has his own style of speaking, and he had matter in what he spoke. But if you listen to his speeches, he always mixed it with silence. So it allowed him to say whatever he said in a very poised manner, in a comfortable manner. But if you listen to his speeches, there are silences, lots of silences in between. And that was his style. So, but as long as you can communicate in whichever way, that is your style. So your style is your style. Only people can mimic your style, but that won't be their unique style. Your style is your style. That's how I would like to put it across.
Right, ma'am. With this, the question and answer session ends.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yep.
Hello, Padma ma'am.
Yes.
Would you mind stop sharing your screen?
Yeah, please. Yes. Okay. How to stop share? Okay, stop share. Great. Is my screen now?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Haripriya, for the wonderful Q&A session. Ma'am, thank you so much for answering all our questions with wonderful clarity. Last but not the least, as we conclude today's webinar, I'd like to invite Nitya to propose the vote of thanks. Over to you, Nitya.
Thank you, Medha. Good afternoon to one and all present here. There is a thankful heart. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks and acknowledge the contribution of those who worked really hard to make this event possible. I, Nityashree H. from VWOC MLT, on behalf of Maharani Lakshmi Ammani College for Women, I would like to thank Ms. Padma B.S. ma'am for the wonderful session on public speaking. Your thoughts have enlightened our mind and have shown us a new path. I would like to thank our beloved principal, Dr. Shashikala ma'am, and my heartfelt thanks to our English department, HOD Professor Soumya ma'am, and all the staff of the department. It was very thoughtful of them to plan and organize this event. I would like to extend my thanks to all the participants present here with us. Lastly, I would like to appreciate the active participation of my friends, which has resulted in successful event. Once again, thank you all. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you, Nitya. I now request all participants to rise for the college anthem.
ಒಂದೇ ಭಾವದ ಮನುಜರು ನಾವು ಒಂದಾಗಿ ಸಾಗೋಣ ಅಮ್ಮಣ್ಣಿ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ವಿದ್ಯೆಯ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಬದುಕಲು ಕಲಿಯೋಣ ಒಂದೇ ಭಾವದ ಮನುಜರು ನಾವು ಒಂದಾಗಿ ಸಾಗೋಣ ಅಮ್ಮಣ್ಣಿ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ವಿದ್ಯೆಯ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಬದುಕಲು ಕಲಿಯೋಣ ಜ್ಞಾನದ ದೇವಿಗೆ ಕರದಲ್ಲಿ ಧರಿಸಿ ಕತ್ತಲು ಸರಿಸೋಣ ದೇಶದ ಪ್ರಗತಿಗೆ ಜ್ಞಾನದ ಕೊಡುಗೆಯ ಸೇರುತ್ತ ನೀಡೋಣ ಅರಸು ಆಶ್ರಯಕ್ಕೆ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರೀಯ ಸೇವೆಯ ಸ್ಮರಿಸೋಣ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಸಾಧಕ ಮಾರ್ಗದಿಂದಲೇ ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿಯ ಪಡೆಯೋಣ ಅರಸು ಆಶ್ರಯಕ್ಕೆ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರೀಯ ಸೇವೆಯ ಸ್ಮರಿಸೋಣ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಸಾಧಕ ಮಾರ್ಗದಿಂದಲೇ ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿಯ ಪಡೆಯೋಣ ಒಂದೇ ಭಾವದ ಮನುಜರು ನಾವು ಒಂದಾಗಿ ಸಾಗೋಣ ಅಮ್ಮಣ್ಣಿ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ವಿದ್ಯೆಯ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಬದುಕಲು ಕಲಿಯೋಣ ಮಹಿಳಾ ಶಕ್ತಿಯ ಉತ್ತುಂಗವನ್ನು ಸಾಧಿಸಿ ತೋರೋಣ ಶಾಂತಿಯ ಮಂತ್ರದ ನೂತನ ಚಿಂತನೆ ಹೃದಯದಿ ಹರಿಸೋಣ ನೀಲಿ ಅನಂತವ ಗುಲಾಬಿ ಬಿದುವನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲೆಡೆ ಹರಡೋಣ ಪೀತ ಬಣ್ಣದಿ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಸರಸ್ವತಿ ಆತ್ಮದಿ ಬೆರೆಯೋಣ ನೀಲಿ ಅನಂತವ ಗುಲಾಬಿ ಬಿದುವನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲೆಡೆ ಹರಡೋಣ ಪೀತ ಬಣ್ಣದಿ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಸರಸ್ವತಿ ಆತ್ಮದಿ ಬೆರೆಯೋಣ ಆತ್ಮದಿ ಬೆರೆಯೋಣ ಒಂದೇ ಭಾವದ ಮನುಜರು ನಾವು ಒಂದಾಗಿ ಸಾಗೋಣ ಅಮ್ಮಣ್ಣಿ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ವಿದ್ಯೆಯ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಬದುಕಲು ಕಲಿಯೋಣ ಹೊಸ ಹೊಸ ಚಿಂತನೆ ಬಗೆ ಬಗೆ ಯೋಜನೆ ಜ್ಞಾನದಿ ಬೆಳೆಯೋಣ ಬನ್ನಿರಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕುಲ ಮತ ಮರೆತು ಬೆರೆಯುತ್ತ ಹಾಡೋಣ ದೇಶ ಸೇವೆಯೇ ಈಶ ಸೇವೆ ಎಂಬ ನಾಣ್ಣುಡಿ ಒಪ್ಪೋಣ ಶೀಲ ಪರಮ ಭೂಷಣವೆಂಬ ಘೋಷಣೆ ಸಾರೋಣ ದೇಶ ಸೇವೆಯೇ ಈಶ ಸೇವೆ ಎಂಬ ನಾಣ್ಣುಡಿ ಒಪ್ಪೋಣ ಶೀಲ ಪರಮ ಭೂಷಣವೆಂಬ ಘೋಷಣೆ ಸಾರೋಣ ಶೀಲಂ ಪರಮ ಭೂಷಣವೆಂಬ ಘೋಷಣೆ ಸಾರೋಣ ಶೀಲಂ ಪರಮ ಭೂಷಣವೆಂಬ ಘೋಷಣೆ ಸಾರೋಣ ಘೋಷಣೆ ಸಾರೋಣ ಘೋಷಣೆ ಸಾರೋಣ ಘೋಷಣೆ ಸಾರೋಣ
The feedback link is displayed on the screen and has been posted in the chat box below. I request all participants to fill the feedback form to receive your certificates. Thank you all for joining us in this webinar today and for your active participation. I hope everybody has had a great learning experience. Thank you.
Hello, Padma ma'am. Are you there in the meeting? Hello. Can you hear me, ma'am? Hello. I request all the participants to turn on their video for a group photo. Padma ma'am, if you're there in the meeting, can you please turn on your video, ma'am, please?
She's left the meeting, ma'am.
Okay, we'll have a group photo once. All the participants, please turn on your video. Chat box. Okay, thank you, students. All of you can leave the meeting now. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Nishita, I think I've asked Padmini ma'am also to join once again.
Okay.
If you may join, and maybe after that, like we can take a group photo.
Okay, ma'am. Fine. Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm now in. Okay, thanks.
I think ma'am has joined. Maybe we can take a group photo. Hope all the girls like who are part of the session are there. Nishita? Ashwini? Are you there? Okay.
Thank you all.
Okay. Is it done?
Yes, ma'am. It is done. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. I have left a link to the audio file of the art of public speaking. If you want to circulate, you can copy that and in the chat box.
Okay, ma'am. Sure,
Yeah.
ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Padmini ma'am, once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sonia.
Thank you. Live streaming can be stopped, I guess.